Hi, everyone, and welcome to our ongoing series, Research That Matters, which highlights the great work of our faculty. I'm Alicia Martinez, Parker Scholar, and double major in management as well as accounting. Today, I'm going to be joined by Dr. Kwabena Boakye, Professor of Enterprise Systems and Analytics. Thank you for taking the time today, Dr. Boakye, to join us.
You're welcome.
First, I want to ask, can you briefly describe your research topic for us and the conclusions you've reached?
Sure, yeah. So the research topic that I had to look at how firms can shape the experiences of their customers so that customers can increase the frequency of use of their service product or service offering. Let's remember that gone were the days when firms segmented or viewed their customers based on a transactional outlook, which I look at it from a passive approach. That is, the firm produces something, the customer here, you need something, we exchange, we go our separate ways. That's not going to catch it out this time around. Now, firms are being told or are being asked to move towards an active approach. And by active approach, that is making sure that the customers are active co-producers and participants of the services that customers seek to consume themselves. So basically, when you take a look at it, customers always want to be part of the process. They want to be engaged. They want to be involved, and they want to interact with the service environment, be it the employees or other customers within the service process. Okay, prior to them having a final outcome. The final outcome is where they're going to be satisfied. But note that I could be satisfied, right? But I could decide not to do it, to continue doing business with a firm. Another person could be satisfied, but will continue to do business with the firm. A customer not being satisfied but not continue to do business with a firm, he or she probably may have had a bad experience through that process prior to them getting that final outcome. They are okay with the final outcome, but the experiences were terrible. And so by virtue of that, they say we are not going to be in a relationship with that service firm. So what I sought to do with my co-authors was to find out how firms can improve or enhance the relational experiences of their customers. And the simple conclusion that we came up with is that, in order for firms to do this, they need to strategically build closer relationships. Everything we do in this world is about relationship. Okay, and when they build those closer relationships, they can do that by targeting the feelings of the customer. Because when the feelings of the customers are targeted, it drives a positive response, behavior. That feeling is you connecting with the emotions of the customer. And when you connect with the emotions of the customer does what? He or she feels appreciated. A customer wants to have a sense of belonging. The customer wants to have a sense of of well-being, have a stress-free relationship without any conflicts, without any threats. And most importantly, have a sense of freedom, security. Not only does the building relationships help customers to be involved emotionally, it also helps the firms to provide avenues or platforms that can quickly, emphasis on quickly, respond to customer needs and queries that they may have. Nice. Efficiently. Yeah. And so at the end of the day, the conclusion that we had was that yes, we know satisfaction drives customer behavior. We know that. But that path or that relationship or that influence or that impact is significantly higher when when customers have a high emotional connection coupled with the fact that they perceive the organization to provide what? A high customer service oriented what? Culture.
Right.
So that was the takeaway from that research that we had.
It's amazing. It sounds really good. And what led your focus for your research on this particular topic?
Alicia, this is an interesting question. So when I moved here to Statesboro in 2013, my wife and I we purchased a house, and we bought some home appliances, washer and dryer. They delivered the washer and dryer. They hooked it up. We used it for a week, and then it broke down. Fine, we were satisfied with everything about it, prior to it breaking down. So we called, and they sent technicians out a week after.
Wow.
So we had to wait. The technicians came in. Supposedly they found a solution to the problem. They fixed it. A week later, we couldn't use it again. So we called them. And this time, I was really, really livid, okay? So they said, you know what? We're going to send a group of technicians. This time around, it was double the number that came the first time. When the second group came in, they realized that, oh, there is a fault with the washer or with the appliance. So they needed to replace it. Replacement took almost 2 weeks.
Oh.
So the time that my wife and I had to go through to wait for that replacement was not a good wait for us. So although we were satisfied at the end with the outcome of the new appliance that they delivered to us, the process that we had to go through to get that final product was not a good one. So that led me to say, oh, is this truly what other people go through? So that made me say, well, let me find out what other customers would say if they encounter such circumstances or such situations.
Right,
so that led me to
hassles.
that,
Yeah. So what does this study and your findings mean for business in daily practice? What are the benefits to the business community, and what can we take away from this research?
Building relationships is key in everything that we do. Most importantly, building closer, tighter relationships. Because when a customer comes to your organization to purchase a service, when he or she leaves, is the customer satisfied? Does the customer feel respected? Does the customer feel he or she has been treated well? All these little things are what customers assess to see whether they are really satisfied with the experience that they had to go through prior to getting that the final product. So for businesses, the business community, they need to know that building relationships is key, and they need to connect. Emphasis on what? Connect on the emotions of customers. Because at the end of the day, they should know that when customers are emotionally connected, they generate what? Greater value. All right? They generate greater value because they are convinced that every time they interact with the service firm, they know that, oh, the firm understands me, the firm gets me, the firm appreciates me. And that is key. That is what the businesses in the community can take away from this.
Right. It's very good. And another question I have for you is, how does your research impact your teaching, and how do students benefit from this?
Well, so as you're aware, I teach a quant or analytics class or course, and the perception among students is that quant classes are very, very challenging. So most students come to class disconnected, or they are required to take the class, fine, but they are disconnected. So what I do is to build that bridge to them. So I build a relationship to connect, to let them know that, hey, I know your frustration, I know what you have, but I am here for you. So some of the things I also do is I try to get the names of every student in class by the end of the third week. And if a student misses class, I email him or her, finding out why you missed class. And they get so surprised. How did he know I missed class? It's because I want to connect. When they see that connection, they feel that the professor cares.
Right.
The professor appreciates or it wants to help. And it's basically the same thing that I'm bringing out from the research. All right.
Awesome.
That connection, yeah.
That's a really good tactic too. Very good. And my last question for you is, what unanswered questions or challenges were raised during your project, that you experienced during your research? What was left that you just couldn't find an answer to?
Well, amongst all the things, amongst the challenges that I had, the one significant challenge was the fact that I wasn't able to prove that emotional connection alone impacts, all right, that satisfaction customer behavior link, which was quite unexpected. However, in the presence, coupled with with the customer orientation, that emotional connection worked. The interaction worked. So basically, this boils down to the good old saying, practice what you preach. You preach, you hear the preachings of whoever, the counselor. You get connected by what he or she says emotionally. But when the counselor or the researcher does not practice what he or she has preached, then you become what? You then decide to back out because you cannot trust what he or she is projecting to you. Because remember, relationships are all about what? Trust. So if he or she is saying, do this, but he or she does something opposite to that, you tend to back out. And so what I'm trying to do right now is to find a way of find a rationale, a reason to see why emotional connection alone, that is the preaching part alone, did not have any effect on the future behavior of customers when they were satisfied. Yeah.
I see, and I'm sure emotions are a really hard thing to research and study and get results that are conclusive back. Are you excited to continue this research?
Oh yeah, I am excited about that because it's my field of research that I've taken on or I've added on to what I currently have. And so it will be interesting to see what kind of psychological factors that play a part in the emotional connectivity aspect of behavior. Yeah.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that you're still excited to continue your research, and I look forward to seeing what else you bring forward for us.
Thank you.
Again, I thank you, Dr. Boakye, and for just sharing all this expertise with us and a little bit about your findings.
You're welcome.
And for you viewers, I really hope that you did enjoy as well learning more about Dr. Boakye's research. And I hope you would join us next time as we hear from another one of our outstanding Parker College faculty members.